The madness has taken over downtown St. Louis. You can call it Arch Madness as we get you set for the nightcap, the two evening affairs here in St. Louis in this 2:15 head-to-head in the West region. The Boilermakers from Purdue and the upstart Royals from Little Queens University in Charlotte. Basketball, and there, ladies and gentlemen, is the head coach, Grant Leonard. Got that ugly sweater thing going, little St. Patty's Day, little celebration of America. As colorful a personality, Jim, as we got in the tournament.
Very, very enjoyable and well-grounded guy to speak with. We got two real gentlemen coaching these two games tonight, this game tonight.
First ever NCAA tournament appearance for Queens University in their first season of postseason eligibility. Just a remarkable story that we'll get into as the night goes on.
And I like this sweater, by the way.
Thumbs up. Braden Smith hanging, and that gets the party started here in St. Louis. How good was he in their run through the Big Ten tournament? Smith, score, distributor, was just sensational. And there's the quick answer. Avante Parker, beautifully set up, and we're tied.
Yeah, to your point with Smith, 11.5 assists over that tournament run. Just fun to watch the way he directs the traffic. Watch for lawyers shooting off screens. Here he comes now.
And he buries it. Fletcher Lawyer passing the great Carson Edwards to become Purdue's all-time three-point king just a couple of weeks ago.
And if you watch this team, they're an interesting team. They're well-seasoned. There are a lot of veterans on the team for Purdue. They run their sets very, very well. Here's another good set.
Little pick and roll action, but Parker dribbles it off of his sneaker and out of bounds. Boy, you got the emotions of being a parent. There's Braden's parents, Dustin and Ginny, watching their son at this level. Got the all-time assist record that they're hoping that he can get past him early in this game.
And I would bet you they're more nervous than he is right now. As parents watching the kids play basketball on a big stage like this, little jump hook time.
Crossman win. There's a 20-point-per-game score last year. And what an encore season he put forth for Matt Painter and this team this season.
Queens has to get comfortable and settle down and make sure this shot or the next coming down with these two trips, get their legs underneath and get something good to happen.
For a beautiful lead pass. Man setting the table for Carson Schwieger, the redshirt sophomore out of Overland Park, Kansas.
Nice little set there, too, for Queens, because early on, you want to get a couple going to the basket just to feel comfortable that you can score.
Queens University was the number 3 seed in the ASUN tournament as Smith hits a beautiful mid-range J.
Thought he was supposed to be a passer, this guy. He's more than a passer, folks.
Well, he's got those glittering sneakers he's wearing. He's got it all working for him. Here comes that pick and roll action again from Mann. A little bit off target, trying to go glass.
This is where he's good in the open floor, finding people. There you go.
Setting the table for Clough. He has tied Bobby Hurley.
In the open court, he's just not fair to defend. He's so good at picking people apart, reads the situation.
Schwieger dials it up from distance.
Good three-point shooter at 41% on the season. A couple of good answers there for Queens in their back-to-back sets.
This is Clough, one of the 2 transfers that Matt Painter went and got this year. Young man has become such a big piece in the middle for the Boilermakers. Kaufman Wren trying to create the space. Steps middle, under control, so skilled on the box.
Who's going to be the answer, Spiro, to the trivia question? Who scores on the next pass?
By the way, the Boilers still haven't missed their 6 of 6 from the field. This is Yoav Berman getting his first take. And the rebound corralled underneath by Clough.
Clough has been giving them very good minutes for a good period of time.
Here comes Smith. He will launch. A little bit too much. Offensive rebound taken by C.J. Cox. Boilers going to reset with the 2-time All-American Smith. Working against Parker, turning, hanging. And left it a little bit short. The loose change taken by Ashby.
Smith has come out shooting.
Well, he's one of the all-time lethal three-point shooters, and he sticks it. He hit an ASUN tournament record, 10 made threes in the title game win over Central Arkansas.
He's got that green light, Spiro, because he took 19, a great percentage for his threes. There we go, right there. Oh, he didn't
Smith
catch it.
behind the back, little bobble, and a turnover.
Just a touch low for Clough to handle that pass.
In the transition, this is Parker going to get him reset. Ashby's going to pull. Fight for it underneath, and too much girth from Clough. So early stages, three-point lead for Purdue, the heavy favorites in this 2-15 matchup in the West. Little two-man game. Kaufman ran, missed it. Offensive rebound, they say Clough was out of bounds.
Well, he's known for his passing, especially tonight. But watch him go to work with his little, put that left foot down, get some elevation, and bottom it out.
Little peek at our tournament summary. Second full day of March Madness, 15 and change left to play in our first half here in St. Louis. What a crazy day it has been. Started the day with that thriller here, Kentucky over Santa Clara. Ortega always sending the thing into overtime and sending the country into a frenzy.
And Miami of Ohio exiting, but I'll just go back to the scene a couple of nights ago in Dayton where it was just fabulous. Congratulations to them on a terrific season.
No doubt. Boy, we're looking forward to the next couple of weeks. What more magic do these two teams, or all these teams, have up their sleeve? Shot clock down to 7. This is Jordan Watford at the top. Has to work quickly, trying to carve out some space. A little bit off target, good interior defense.
Yeah, and an effort, too, to start at the perimeter for Purdue. Pretty good attention to detail. 3 guys picking up perimeter guys, not allowing them to dribble the ball past them.
Braden Smith, 1 assist away from the all-time NCAA record. Lawyer leads Clough. Masterfully done.
Almost looked like Braden Smith delivering the goods just then. Nice delivery by Lawyer and timed well.
And this is going to be a turnover. Well played by Lawyer. Guy's expanded his game, Jim, at both ends of the floor. That's the second Royals turnover forced.
He brings 2 guys with him. You see the 2 guys vacate. No rotation at all. Clough just finishes it off with an easy touch.
So opening 6+ minutes. Royals trying to hang tough with the big bad Boilermakers. As Jack Benter has checked into the game now for Matt Painter, the redshirt freshman who has played some big minutes this season. And that is going to be the first team foul on either team.
Yep, and also Benter, good three-point shooter for Matt Painter.
Purdue Boilermakers 27-8 on the season. They went 13-7 in the Big Ten. Finished tied for 6th. As Clough misses badly on a turnaround. Boilermakers ended the regular season losers of 7 of their final 13 games. Beautiful corner shot, won't go in and out from Berman. Bodies all over the place. Here comes Smith. Lawyer from deep. Purdue fans ready to explode, and a loose ball foul against Purdue.
The trip right before that, Braden Smith thought he had the record. Clough couldn't get it to go, and his body language just like, almost felt like we just put one in here so I can get this over with and keep moving.
Standing shoulder to shoulder with one of the all-time playmakers, Bobby Hurley. And now it's just a waiting game for Braden Smith and his family. And Smith, to his credit, same way, it's just all about the team. It's all about how far we can go in this tournament. As we get a body bump here, they're going to get Lawyer with Watford knocked to the deck.
Yeah, nice tricky move there by Watford just then. He was trying to move his way towards the basket. He sensed that Lawyer was a little out of control defensively, so he just rammed himself right into it to get the out of bounds here and the foul.
This is Maban Jabril, sophomore from Ontario, Canada. Good wiry frame, man catch and shoot, miss it. So the Royals 2 of 5 from deep. And now 4 of 10 overall from the field. Smith is going to draw contact. They need to get man way out on the perimeter. And that will be his first. Watch every men's game live on your computer, phone, tablet, or streaming device with NCAA March Madness Live. Download now to stay up to date on all the action. Great to have you with us from St. Louis. Spirit leaders Jim Spinarkle, John Rothstein, rest of our True TV crew. This is Kaufman, Wren, a little bit short on that floater.
Another good delivery by Smith.
Man sealed off. Watch for a beautiful dime. Underneath, it's Gus Larson.
That's one of those quick hitters, too. 2 guys involved with could have been like the hockey assist. It was so quick to the middle of the floor.
Larson playing for his 3rd different school, the graduate transfer. Smith, little pocket pass. Wren puts it down. And there it is. College basketball history. Braden Smith, the NCAA's all-time assist king. His parents, Dusty and Ginny, his little brother Maddox, who I am told is a pretty good up-and-coming player in his own right.
Now we're taking it right. We just took Braden Smith off the counter and put his brother on it. They're predicted could be as good or if not better than he is.
What an amazing moment for the Smith family as we get a traveling violation here against the Royals. And there is Maddox, his brother. Boy, just can imagine how proud he is of his big bro. As Braden Smith breaking a record that stood for 33 years set by Bobby Hurley in 1993. Remarkable.
Great shot, too, of his father. A little bit of emotional feeling over there for him.
And a little tip of the cap to Bob Hurley. Bobby Hurley,
yeah, absolutely.
One of the truly great players and one of the great guys in the sport. And we wish him all the best, as I'm sure he is looking on proudly from wherever he is. Alma Meyer. Shot clock at 2, hanging, high degree of difficulty, and look at Benter. Out to Smith, splash!
Smith and Lawyer just love those step-in threes in rhythm. When they get offensive rebounds, they kick them out. Oh, this long range.
That's good! Oh. My goodness, Jabril! And how about that answer from Little Queens University?
Yeah, it's 6'9", 205. He's got a nice frame. He's looking to drive the ball, too. Long-range shooter.
Braden Smith's pass deflected into the corner. Open 3 won't go from Jakari Harris as he gets his first take.
Good decisions have to be made by Queens early in this game.
Watford setting the table. Jabril not quite finished just yet. Fight for it. It's saved by Larson. Into the paint, Watford body bumping, and he goes glass. And the Royals throwing some punches.
One of the things about them early on you can see very easily is the fact that when they get the ball going towards the paint, they don't believe there's enough shot blockers down there for Purdue to really steer them away from the paint.
Kaufman Wren, just textbook. He is basketball poetry with that precision footwork down in the box. He's got 6.
Because Spiro, you know, Purdue only blocks less than 3 shots per game. So from a strategy standpoint, I'd be going after that a little bit consistently. Watch from behind.
Meyer picks his pocket.
Good luck.
Smith ahead of the field. Easy deuce. Where they can budge it quickly, can't they? For Smith.
Yeah, they help one another. They're very alert as a team at both ends of the floor.
So that graphic early from our crew, one of the highest assist teams in the country are the Boilermakers.
There's a time to go by somebody if you want with Man.
Flat-footed shot from Man, can't get it to drop, rebound Smith.
He had Kaufman Wren on him. That's a good time to isolate from outside.
Smith, the official's going to get a reach-in foul. And the Boilermakers going to take a 7-point lead into the timeout.
And Braden Smith, we've been discussing it and speaking about it. Here is the record breaker. Kaufman-Renn makes it happen. Congratulations to the Smith family.
All right, Matt, I know you're focused on the game, but how surreal is it to now coach the all-time assist leader?
Yeah, it is surreal. You know, happy for him. Really happy for him. He's worked really hard. It's an unbelievable passer, man. Makes the game look easy at times, but like you said, let's get back to work here and let's try to get a victory.
Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Matt Painter giving his player his due, but businesslike as they quickly now focus on the task at hand. But you know, this kid Braden Smith, you just think of where he was as a high school player. Teams weren't banging down his door with power conference scholarship offers, and just look at the player he's become. One of the all-time careers in the history of the sport.
Look at that ball fake too just then.
Feeds big Oscar Clough, and look at the big dancing bear.
There you go. You think they like playing with Smith with the deliveries?
Boy, how good was Clough in that Big Ten tournament, especially in that championship game against Michigan. Clough 21 points in the victory over the Wolverines in the upset win in the championship game. A win that probably pushed them up to the 2-seed line for this tournament.
The all-tournament team too is just really a big force down there. Looking for the trip, somebody out there or grab.
See who the officials get here. As we get to the 8:49 mark, they're going to get Kaufman-Renn for his first. The work never stops in the pit. Catch up on the Emmy Award-winning series that critics are calling the absolute best show on TV. New episode streaming Thursdays, 9 p.m. on HBO Max. So, Jim, under 9 minutes left. Biggest takeaway so far. Have to be impressed with what we've seen from Queens. Nice little finish as Nasir Mann glides to the rack.
Yeah, I'm getting the read right now that there's a confidence level with Queens that they're saying, you know what, Purdue might be better than us on paper, but let's run it up the flagpole and give it a chance and a shot here.
A team that comes to this tournament with so much confidence. Myers stops. Beautiful mid-range J.
Yeah, he's like a wild card for Purdue. If he can get it going and be consistent, which he's been playing much better over the last couple of weeks, they're a different team. Nice look.
Boy behind the back. Brilliant pass. And then they just could not finish underneath with Parker.
Yeah, got the size and strength down below. They want to go to the blocks. Here we go again.
Here comes that lethal pick and roll action, and the interior defense well done by Parker. Turning Kaufman-Renn back. And everyone's going to catch their breath as we play with 7 and change left. 9-point Purdue lead on True TV. Seven and change left to play in this first half. There's your score just a couple of seconds ago. John Rothstein with Grant Leonard.
All right, Grant, why are they so hard to defend?
Yeah, the screening has been unbelievable. They're getting a lot of separation. We're going to have to do a better job of having contact before the screen to get over it so they can have less separation.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Grant Leonard, the 45-year-old Milwaukee-born head coach, 4th year at the controls of this Queens University men's program. Just a remarkable group and basketball team that he has built. This tiny school in the Myers Park section of Charlotte, idyllic part of Charlotte, kind of the uptown area, the downtown that they call. And boy, the city of Charlotte just buzzing about this team making their first ever appearance in the NCAA tournament. And right now they are hanging tough within striking distance against the 2-seed Boilermakers. Whistle blown. That's going to be a loose ball foul against Purdue.
Yep, I think Cox with a little bit of a push. Here's Matt Painter. Not the same kind of sweatshirt as the other side of the floor.
And right there, that's Buddy the street dog, the unofficial mascot slash spirit animal, I guess you can call, of the Queens University Royals. As we get a 3, that's good. Yoav Berman lights the lamp. So Grant Leonard, Jim, gives Buddy the Street Dog to their Street Dog player after every game. The guy who embodies the Street Dog mentality, as Leonard has said. And that thing, I think he's made of plastic, Jim, maybe rubber, but he's become the unofficial mascot of this team. And boy, they embodied everything that represents. Nice little finish in tight by Kaufman-Renn.
Yeah, and so far, you know, the way they're playing right now, there are a couple of guys who are trying to win that award for the night, but a poke in the eye to Man. He's shake that off.
Gonna reset here. Boy, what a matchup between these two right here. Both of these players born and raised in Tel Aviv. Brahman and Meyer into the paint. Little flick won't go from Parker. Got a pretty good look at it inside.
Yeah, it was a good decision by Parker, too, because he had Clough out on the court with him.
C.J. Cox, open look at a three. That won't go. Cox, who has had some big games this season, quiet till this point. Off balance flick by Jabril, won't go.
And one of the things about Queens is they're getting some pretty good looks. I mean, the last two trips down in particular just could not get it to both of them to go down.
When Meyer coughs it up, ran into his own guy, Clough. Officials are going to say jump, and the possession arrow favors the Royals. Get complete coverage of the NCAA Division I Women's Tournament at ncaa.com. Jim, I think if you told Grant Leonard before the game they'd start 9 of 21 from the field and be down only 8 at this juncture, I think he'd sign up for that in a heartbeat. I
think he would also, and I have to be honest with you, Stuart. Every so often I look over there with the way he's dressed with that shirt. I think a spectator is walking across.
Here comes Clough, taking contact from Parker, and he's going to shoot free throws. So how about Grant Leonard in those ugly sweaters? Someone in his family,
fabulous.
Someone in his family apparently gave him a little bit of grief back in the day. He said he was kind of boring with his fashion, so he said, you know what, I'm gonna show all of you. Started wearing these sweaters, they caught fire.
Just back off. This is the way I want to dress. But I am being honest. When I looked over a couple of times, I said, there's a spectator coming out of the stands walking over there.
He's a spectator who can coach pretty well. My goodness, what a masterful coaching job that he's done. Former psychology teacher at the collegiate level, and I don't think he ever dreamt when his coaching career started at the high school level in Wisconsin about 20 years ago that he would be in this position.
And like Matt Painter, both of these guys are very smart guys. They're well-grounded and really coaches that you would send your son to go play for.
Indeed. Dribbling inside, it's Parker.
See, I don't sense any anxiety with Queens the way they're running their sets. They've made some mistakes. Yes, they've turned it over. They've been intimidated with the shots underneath a few times. But for the most part, I think as a team, they feel like they belong exactly where they are right now.
Lawyer coughs it up. It's a Purdue turnover, only their third of the half.
Somebody's got to stop
5
him.
minutes, Parker. Clough turns him back.
Finally stopped him.
Stingy interior defense. Here comes Watford. Look at Clough, the eraser.
He's not getting off the ground very high, but his timing is fabulous in those last two shots.
Hard screen for Smith. Pick and roll action. Clough left it a little bit short.
Yep, just squeezed it up there into the rim. Clough a little tired going up and down, I think.
Man Euro steps, and the Royals are within 5.
Matt Painter's going to wait for this under 4 timeout, but I think Clough in particular is blowing some air right now.
Jim, how surprised are you with this score right now?
Well, I'm surprised on paper, but watching them for a bunch of time right now, they're pretty impressive, Queens, the way they're coming after it. So, like I said, they just appear like they belong in this game so far.
And they don't look overmatched physically. Certainly not from a composure standpoint. Beautiful drive and finish that time by Nasir Mann, senior out of Gainesville.
I'm getting the feeling, kind of like Purdue, Spiro, at a different level throughout the season, that Purdue kind of knows what they want to do and execute certain ways with certain players in situations. You could say the same thing. You know, Matt Painter's team is very good at it. But at the other side, Queens is kind of doing the same thing. They're isolating guys occasionally. They're getting the shots from the people that they want. So Grant has to be very, very happy in terms of that. Now maybe he thinks they could have scored a couple of extra points here and there and made some shots. And he's probably right.
Grant Leonard matching wits with one of the truly great coaches in the sport, Matt Painter. This to be a surreal moment for Leonard and that Queens coaching staff. Boy, this team looks like they belong, at least till this point, as we are inside of 4 minutes left. Man dribbles it off of his foot, going to reset against Smith. Boy, and then the defense hit the deck. Smith was knocked over by Benter, and the Royals keep coming.
And the patience with Queens, they're looking and searching out opportunities, and then all of a sudden when somebody falls down, it's an opportunity, take advantage of it.
Here comes Smith around the screen, and the seas just parted.
Yeah, a little tricky move there too. You see him, he extended the arm just a little bit. The defender kind of vacated for him, and it turned out to be a simple layup for him.
So 13 and 3 assists for Smith. And we get a whistle here against the Boilermakers as they plead their case. The Royals from Queens University have come to St. Louis, and they're going toe-to-toe with the Boilermakers. Seven-point lead for the Boilermakers in this 2:15 matchup. A bit of a surprise score if you've just hopped on with us. Jim, biggest takeaways for you so far in this half?
I think it's the competitiveness of Queens right now and the paint points where they're attacking as much as they can. Almost even with Purdue, who has more size and strength underneath with their two big, powerful guys underneath on the front line.
Queens University in their first year eligible to make the tournament, their first ever appearance. Champions out of the A-Sun. How long can they keep this going? Schwieger from deep, missed it. Offensive rebound, Jabril.
That all happened because Jabril was outside 15 feet away with Braden Smith on him. And I'm thinking, you know, find a way to post up down there and make a mismatch out of that. He did on the offensive glass.
Young man out of Waterloo, Ontario, Canada, by way of Tri-City Prep High School.
Little switch up front.
Braden Smith showing the handle straight away. This is Cox on a three, and he connects.
Now there's a team that knows what they want to accomplish. When Braden Smith went to his left into the lane, Cox just came running up and filled it up.
Watford turned back. Some fierce interior defense from Daniel Jacobson. Led the team in blocks this season, was 7th in the Big Ten.
Sometimes 7-4 works, doesn't it, defensively? And there's that fill by Cox. He came from way over on the right side, recognized that Smith. You want to be on a string with the guards. When one guard goes one way, you want to trail him with it and make sure you're finding a spot. Well, it doesn't take much for Smith to find you in the open floor.
Jim, coaches always talk about finishing halves strongly.
Yes, I agree.
Final 2 and change here. Boilermakers with possession and an 8-point lead.
Queens has to be careful so they don't go down 15 or so in the last 2 minutes with a run.
There's Cox.
Yep, got him on the hand.
And that will be 3 free throws for C.J. Cox. Reminder coming up, AT&T at the half. We'll get you to our studios, all the scores and highlights, plus the latest NCAA tournament news. It's all next on AT&T at the half. C.J. Cox, who finished 3rd on the team this season in made threes. Out of Lexington, Mass.
Shoots the ball very well from the free throw line at 85%.
And some big moments this season. Misses on the second as we check in with John.
Well, guys, obviously we've talked a lot today about retention being such a factor throughout college basketball if you can do it. Purdue's top 9 scorers have obviously had great rhythm, great chemistry. Guys, 8 of those top 9 scorers have only worn a Purdue uniform, Jim.
Well, you know, says something, in my opinion, about the guy coaching them. But they all want to stick around. They like him. They respect him. Painter has done a fabulous job. And it just builds and builds the chemistry.
But just think of Kaufman-Rennie. He had to basically sit behind behind Zach Edey for 2 full years. So many players would have left.
Exactly.
Stayed last year, became a 20-point-per-game scorer. An all-conference player in the Big Ten. Berman spinning, unable to hit. Largest lead of the half so far for the Boilermakers.
Clough did not budge on those ball fakes at all.
So a little bit of a danger zone here for the Royals. Good movement.
It really is. Got to be careful. They're going to get a couple of possessions on you.
Smith, just textbook. Creates the space. Timeout Royals. Braden Smith, 15 points, putting the Boilers on his back on True TV.
Clearing up the middle of the floor. Good look into the corner.
Looking for some offense now. 2 minutes, Jim, since they've scored a point.
Yep.
As Jabril misses badly in the corner.
As we started to suggest, with two minutes and change left on the clock here in the first half, you got to be careful you don't go down 15.
So inside of 50 seconds left in the half. Boilermakers with possession, trying to extend a 12-point lead. Smith.
Nice.
Into the corner. This is Cox. Got it!
Boy, was that ever a beautiful pass by Smith.
Well, Braden Smith is starting to carve him up. 11th straight NCAA tournament game for Smith with at least 5 dimes. Boilers up 15 in St. Louis. Officials are at the table, I believe, looking to try to get the game clock set here. Tony Chiazza, Greg Evans, Anthony Burris, our crew. That is Chiazza and Evans at the table. But Purdue starting to flex a little bit here last couple of minutes, Jim, with their offense.
Yeah, that's the scary part about Purdue, is that if you make a couple of mistakes, they execute so well and they're going to get some good looks. And we saw them make the shots they needed to make to extend this to 15 points. And that last pass that Braden Smith, I thought he was going to the top of the key with it. He went cross court. Cox knocked it back.
Queen so far, if you've just hopped on with us, 13 of 31 from the field, 4 of 12 from the three-point line. So they haven't played a very efficient offensive game, but scrappy really for the first 17, 18 minutes. Jim, you got an explanation here from one of our officials?
Yeah, it's a timing issue. So ball goes through the hoop here and they take it in, but the timeout is being called. And then the clock stops on it.
Adjusted to 35.2.
I think I heard 35.2. So they'll put about a second or so back on the clock. So big possession here for Grant Leonard's Royals. Just trying to build some kind of momentum into the halftime locker room. By the way, Braden Smith has assisted or scored on 11 of Purdue's 18 field goals. Remarkable.
So you can take the clock down. You can't have it disappear right now, but you must get a good shot. It would be great to score if you're Queens, just to get a little bit of a lift going into the locker room.
Purdue has a foul to give. See if they take it here. Shot clock at 5.
Probably don't want to take it now.
On the wing, this is Watford, but they barely get it off. It's Ashby.
He got it off, though.
Unbelievable. Boy, a quick trigger release off the catch. And what a massive shot that is for the Royals.
Well, normally you wouldn't think with that little amount of time on the clock, he passes it over. You're absolutely right. That was a fast release from the corner.
As we throw it over to John Rothstein.
All right, Braden, how'd you guys break this thing open aside from that last 3?
Yeah, we tried to get some stops. I think once we got some stops, able to push in transition, we're getting what we want, getting the shot. So I think we should stick with that.
And your first reaction to breaking the all-time assist record?
Got to win this game. That's all that matters right now.
Well said. Best of luck in the second half.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Spiro.
All right, Braden Smith, a half of history. Well, the only thing on that young man's mind is getting the Boilermakers to the round of 32. We've reached halftime here in St. Louis. We'll get you to AT&T at the half after these messages. You're watching the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship. Here in St. Louis, this crowd settles back into their seats for the final 20 minutes as we take a look at our first half stats. Presented by Geico. That late little push, final 2 minutes or so by the Boilermakers. 10 straight before that last second three by Chris Ashby, and that's where we sit. 12-point lead for the 2-seeded Boilermakers as we welcome you back courtside. Spirit Adidas Jim Spanarkel. We'll hear from John in just a second. First half thoughts and keys. How do the Royals get back into it?
Well, we saw no free throws by the Royals, so that was the first thing. I thought they played well for 17 minutes. Then Purdue picked them apart a little bit the last 3 minutes of that half. So I think I'd focus on going to the basket. I know Clough had a couple of block shots. I'd still push it in there, try to get to the free throw line this half.
All right, a couple of seconds ago, John Rothstein outside the Queens locker room with Nasir Mann.
All right, Nasir, what was the biggest point of emphasis from the coaching staff at the half?
You know, just to stay in the fight. You know, you gotta belief still comes within. And, you know, we just gotta keep fighting. Never out of the game. We can go on a run. We're gonna make a few adjustments here and there, but overall, you just gotta stay in the fight.
What changed in the last few minutes of the first half?
I say we started to see more of the kicks. We know where they're collapsing from now, and we've been able to move the ball a lot more. We know when we get into those get actions, we can get downhill and play in the drop.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
There's Grant Leonard, hired in 2022, the same year, and they started their transition to Division I. Finally postseason eligible this year, and what do? They get to the big dance for the first time ever. And now can he find some answers? Start to think about some of the halftime adjustments here as the second half begins in St. Louis.
Well, the one thing you don't want to have happen if you're Queens is have them go on a run like they did Purdue the last 3 minutes of the half. So you have to be real careful. You don't make mistakes, and you get a couple of stops.
C.J. Cox left open deep in the corner.
He's got a pretty stroke, and he's been really confident over the last month or so for Purdue.
One thing about Queens, they played a really challenging non-conference slate. 5 power conference schools that they faced. They didn't fare well, Jim, in those games. Villanova, Virginia, Wake Forest, Arkansas, and Auburn. Well, they got a little bit of a taste of what it's like at this level. And what a stroke by Cox. So that extends now to a 15-point lead, matches Purdue's biggest so far tonight.
Not in any hurry at all, willing to execute their half-court sets. Kick action out front.
So they will reset the shot clock to 20. Boilermakers 27 wins this season. Finished tied for 6th in the final Big Ten standings. And then ran roughshod through the conference tournament in Chicago. 4 wins in 4 days to get them up to the 2-seed line. Clough left it short, point blank. Last touch by the Royals.
Be interesting to see if they get Purdue gets Lawyer a couple of shots early in this half also.
Winner of this one moving on to Sunday and around the 32 date with the winner between Miami and Missouri. With the Hurricanes and Tigers coming up in our nightcap here in St. Louis. Minute gone by in the half. Smith, again, that lethal pick and roll action with Kaufman Wren. 4 years together in West Lafayette. Clough to pull. And an interception by Ashby.
He's thinking to go to Smith out front. He should have.
This is Schwieger. Big 3 for the Royals.
Nice release pass too by Ashby. I think Ashby has to start to get a little bit more active. Same with Mann. See if they can put a couple of points on the board.
Poor Schwieger was big for him in their 3 games through the ASUN tournament. Averaged 10 points per game. He hit 8 threes during that run. And that 3 to cut it to a dozen. Kaufman Wren working against Berman, flicks it up, no. Little contact, and a chance at 3 for Kaufman Wren.
It's one thing to get the second shot opportunity for himself, but it's that first move that allows him to get back into position. See what he did there? He just drove right into 2 guys. They both jumped at him. Nothing happened. He didn't score, but look where he ends up. He ends up pretty much 2 feet from the basket, can get it and go again. Really smart play there to use that body and that frame to make things happen. At 6'9", 240, he was clearing some space out.
Last year was his breakout. We mentioned 20 points per game, first team All Big Ten. He was AP honorable mention All-American, and then Clough's arrival enabled him to move back to his natural spot at that power forward. And what a tandem those two have been on the box all season with Clough and Kaufman Wren.
Kaufman Wren put, for his career, putting up some huge numbers.
Couple of minutes gone by in the second half. Three-pointer from Ashby. Desperately need him to get going. Berman off the offensive rebound, short. And the Royals now 6 of 16 from the three-point strike.
Good look.
But the ball movement, Jim, just does not stop for the Boilermakers. Lawyer underneath to Clough, and more free throws.
Because they sense Spiro from the right side of the floor. They sense immediately what's setting up on the left side of the floor. So that one kick pass over to Lawyer, then bang, they can go right underneath.
Top 16 teams in the NHL will compete for the oldest trophy in North American sports, the Stanley Cup playoffs, beginning April the 19th. TNT, TBS, True TV, and HBO Max. Let's check in with John Rothstein.
Well, Spiro, we're looking on the foul line right now and seeing potentially the X factor for Purdue in this NCAA tournament. This season, guys, when Oscar Clough hits double figures, the Boilers are 16-3. Jim, this was obviously reiterated last week with how well Purdue played in the Big Ten tournament in Chicago and how well Clough played during that 4-day stretch, Jim.
Yes, absolutely, John. And the thing about it is that he also has had 8 double-doubles this year, and they're 8-0 with that. So the complement of points and rebounding is interesting. And when they feature him, they make his life easier, you know, just because he moves his feet well, he positions himself well, but they know, the guards know exactly when to get him the basketball.
Another big moment in this game for the Royals as they have fallen into a 17-point hole. Parker the turnover.
Parker tried to move Clough out of there, but it was like hitting a wall.
Kaufman running the baseline. Lawyer left open. And that's never a good idea for the defense.
Yeah, you figured they were going to try to get him to run, but once again, he found a spot on the floor. One of the things the guards do so well for Purdue is they find and track the basketball for their upcoming shots.
8 straight points for the Boilermakers if they have opened up a 20-point advantage as we take a little peek at our AT&T Connected cam from high above the floor.
And you take a look at just a simple pass out, but where did Lawyer come from? He came from the top of the key area to fill a spot, get himself closer to his teammate in the blocks. 2 things happen there. You get a shot in rotation, and you make it easier for your passer to see you.
And the frustration on that Queens bench. Everything they built this season. Fletcher Lawyer, meantime, led the Big Ten in 3-point accuracy this season. 16th consecutive game in which he has hit multiple threes. One of the deadliest marksmen in the country. Man, gonna fire. Just can't shoot straight from deep. 6 of 17 from downtown.
Matt Painter instructing his team to make sure you get good shots. Playing up 20, you don't want to overrun.
Well, Jim, look at that balance on the score sheet for the Boilermakers. Lawyer, boy, doesn't need much space. A little bit short, Kaufman-Renn.
There's the power game.
Leans up and puts it down.
And one of the keys, too, is the way Lawyer shoots. Even when he misses Spiro, his shots, the long shots, are so soft that they're usually in a good spot to rebound.
Parker lost the handle just as he was about to dunk. Here comes Ashby, tough little baseline floater.
Boy, was that ever tough. He was looking straight at Clough, who was moving right at him, and he knew he had to pull up. That was the only option he had.
Jim, it's only the 2nd field goal of the half for the Royals.
Well, is that going to go the other way or no?
Looks like they're going to get Queens on the contest.
Wow.
Early stages, second half here in St. Louis. It's all Boilermakers up 20. Our Built Better moment presented by Body Armor as he becomes the all-time assist king, surpassing the great Bobby Hurley. And now the only thing on his mind is, can he get the Boilermakers to Sunday's round of 32?
Look, that was a great answer he gave to John before. I'm just worried about winning, that's all.
He's so honest, the leader, the face of the program for Matt Painter the last few years, 2-time All-American. And now the orchestrator. Queens has scored just 8 points in the last 8 minutes. Smith just keeps coming.
He just knows how to get his shot off, too. He knew exactly what he wanted to do there. He felt the space, pushed it to his left, and got things done. Defensively, it's really difficult to guard that in spaces. Nothing going down for Queens either.
Parker misfires. They're now 6 of 19 from deep. A whistle blown here in the transition as the officials get the Royals as they scurry back into their half-court defense.
See, he knows he wants to shoot that ball from about 12 feet or so out, but he drives you back a few 3 feet knowing that he wants to get back to his spot. Just so sharp and quick with the basketball and understands this game as well as anybody.
Foul charge to Parker, his third. Smith deep in the corner. Clough sneaks in for the rebound. Gonna reset Lawyer. Brilliant fake, and he sticks it.
The offensive glass becoming a factor, too, with the way Clough is clearing boards and finding the open shooters in rhythm. They love it. Lawyer and Smith will take that all night long.
It's Jabril misfiring from deep. They just cannot buy a three from the outside to jumpstart their offense. Lawyer. Deep shot, and Cox tracks it down. Little pocket pass from Smith. A kick. You give Fletcher Lawyer this kind of space, he's going to make you pay for it.
Yep. You know that he's a shooter from outside, so you run at that ball fake, and by that time, there's no secondary help at all.
One of the all-time players in Purdue history, John Rothstein.
Yeah, Spiro. I mean, the consistency of Fletcher Lawyer is ridiculous. He has averaged over his career 73.8 made shots from long distance. And during the last 3 years, Jim, he shot 42% or better from three-point range.
Just wild. And they just understand how to get him the ball. And he moves perfectly and times his jump shot off screens as well as anybody. Here he is now.
Kept alive by Jacobson. Smith in the corner. As we hit the 14-minute mark. Gonna reset Lawyer coming around a screen all the way to the basket.
And every so often he will run at you with the ball like that because you know you're here. He's going to get you to run at him on the perimeter.
A little bit of contact. Jordan Watford is going to get himself to the free throw line. A 17-2 run put together here by the Boilermakers. LG OLED Evo, the best TV in the game. First free throws of the night for the Royals. So Jordan Watford, a freshman out of Lancaster, South Carolina, local kid. He grew up less than an hour from Queens University, just over the border in South Carolina. Was the #1 rated high school player in the state. Had an offer from Mississippi State, chance to play in the SEC. Grant Leonard said, I was the only coach who told him I'd play him at the point. And that was all it took to convince him.
Quick decision. But to your point also, Spiro with the 2 free throws right there as we see a little bit of a different look. The trap is 6 for 20 from the 3-point line.
Nice defensive play by Jabril, and then it's Bowman.
That gives him a little lift. Probably go right back to it. Work once, why not?
Yoav Berman, the sophomore from Tel Aviv.
These guards are tough to press, though.
Royals desperately just trying to somehow get themselves within striking distance, still in a 24-point hole. Here comes Smith weaving his way into the paint. Kaufman Wren slices underneath, makes it look easy.
Just too much strength for Queens to handle when he gets it going and gets that jump stop right about 2 feet away from the bucket. He's just unstoppable against this Queens team. Watch the height.
Watford, boy, magic fake. Got Jacobson to bite.
And didn't get him to recover quick enough. Jacobson just laid it in. Give it up, you get a layup. There you go.
All alone is Jabril. Hard flush. So the Royals showing a little bit of a pulse. 7 for Jabril. 12:20 left in regulation.
This is where the good teams get a good shot after a turnover like that.
Smith turned back. Good interior defense that time by Larson. And then they cough it up themselves.
Called timeout, I think.
Indeed they did. Kaufman read the heady play to get the timeout. With 12:02 left to play in regulation, the Boilermakers have that look of a 2 seed. Little peek at our game summary. 12:02 to play. 22-point lead for Purdue. They have taken control, Jim, really since that final 2-minute mark of the first half. And there is the legend, Gene Cady, basketball Hall of Famer, now 89 years of age. Rooting on his pupil, Matt Painter, and this incredible Boilermakers team. Last touch out of bounds by Queens.
I'm just looking over at their bench, seeing if they're going to challenge that or not. Yep.
And they will indeed challenge. All right, call on the floor is Purdue basketball, and Grant Leonard's going to
Previous out of bounds has been
attempt his
challenged by
first
Queens.
challenge of the night. We'll step aside. Just under 12 minutes left here in St. Louis. Call on the floor is Purdue basketball as Queens challenging here with Grant Leonard. Jim, again, you got that 2010.
Out of bounds challenge has been successful.
Yeah.
Queens will not be charged a timeout. Queens ball.
All right, successful challenge, says Tony Chiazza.
I was being polite and waiting for him to answer, but I was going to agree with him. Sure, why
You
not?
dog, you.
Safe to say it now.
Grant Leonard, what a couple of days it's been for him in this program. He said this has been a life-changing moment for us. Not only the program, but the school itself. You think of the admissions department.
Skyrocketing.
Phones have been buzzing. The level of publicity that this has drawn his school. Out of Charlotte, North Carolina, just amazing. This is Berman underneath, deflected, saved by Larson, taken by Jabril. Shot clock at 6. Berman's going to let it fly. And another offensive rebound. It's Larson. Boy, what a touch pass. Underneath, Jabril can't hit. They come up empty.
Plenty of opportunities, patience. Just can't come away with points.
Lawyer. When it starts dropping like that for Lawyer, you're in trouble.
Did you see how softly that hit the front rim, too, with the backspin that he had on it? You get it to die and fall right over the rim. What a shooter.
Jim, that's not luck. That's a talent.
Yes, sure is.
The softness of that stroke. Jabril, beautiful little backdoor cut.
It's a talent also with that backdoor cut, as you just mentioned. Nice find by Watford out front.
23-point lead. Jabril's line as he approaches double figures. Into the corner. Open look at the three. Harris won't go. Offensive rebound. This is Smith. Got it.
When we ever get a bunch of rhythm shots off slapbacks and offensive rebounding in their kick-out passes.
20 points for Smith.
50% from the field. 9 of 18 Purdue is from 3.
Ashby, who had that incredible performance against Central Arkansas in the championship game of the ASUN tournament. Berman knocked out of his hands. Turnover. But Jim, they have not been able to get Ashby going tonight. And meantime, Miami enters the building. And how about the Missouri Tigers as they will tip off here just after 10 o'clock Eastern. A game that we will have for you right here on True TV. The winner of that one faces the winner of this one. And a round of 32 matchup here on Sunday. So we cross the midway point of this second half. The Purdue Boilermakers, 2 seed in the West.
Wow.
Syracuse University in their NCAA tournament debut. As we get the contact here, whistle against Smith.
You don't see him turn it over that often either.
Watch whip-around coverage of all men's games with the Fast Break presented by Home Depot and the NCAA March Madness Live app. So Clough will sit.
He's got 4 blocks on the evening.
Watford, the freshman playmaker, able to break him down and get to the basket. With 19 points in that ASUN championship win over Central Arkansas, the top-seeded team in their league tournament. Smith steps back, and he has been lethal tonight.
All the decisions, except maybe 1 or 2 in previous trip down where he just coughed up the ball, but extraordinary decision-making, gets him the assist or the bucket for himself. Just knows how to run the show from Matt Painter's squad here. See that separation? He stops on the dime and just flicks it over him.
John, what do you got?
Well, guys, when I was catching up with Coach K earlier this week, obviously about the magnitude of Braden Smith breaking Bobby Hurley's record, he brought up something interesting. He said Braden is playing college basketball at point guard a lot like Bobby did. Coach K said that Bobby Hurley played on a team that didn't run a lot of sets. He just made a lot of reads. It's very similar to what Matt Painter is doing with Braden Smith at Purdue, Spiro and Jim.
Has anyone ever said so nonchalantly? I talked to Coach K this week. Just hanging with him on the phone for a couple minutes. Kaufman Wren with a chance at 3.
Are we fearing the name dropping portion of our show?
Listen, that's John Rothstein.
Guys, for the record, you know me. I'm very, very humble. I got Coach K on the phone, but I haven't heard from my wife in about 5 days.
She's on vacation.
She'll see in May. Offensive rebound. Jakari Harris slips in. And now Kaufman Wren is where the 8:30 mark left in the second half. Here he comes across the paintboard, just skill for days. And they're starting to eat.
Stir it up.
21 for Kaufman Wren, 23 for Braden Smith. 2 guys that have been shoulder to shoulder for the last 4 years in West Lafayette. This is Nasir Mann. A little bit too much. Or Smith lost it. A bit of a miscommunication between those two. And an easy deuce for Mann.
Interesting enough, we spent a good portion of the beginning of the game talking about Smith and his ability to get that record with the assists. And then all of a sudden you look up and he's burying shots. He's got the 23 that you mentioned, 3 of 5 from the 3-point stripe. Terrific night here in the NCAA tournament for Smith.
Homer Meyer at mid-range J. That is sweet. This is Watford taking Harris to the rack. Playing through contact as we're down to 7:18 remaining.
Well, the power game has really produced, along with the shooting for Purdue, a beautiful little flip shot by Kaufman Wren. There you go. It says it all.
Packed house here in St. Louis. And it's going to get even more packed with Missouri coming next. Playing less than 150 miles from their campus.
That'll be a fun one.
And right now it looks to be Purdue. Barring any last late miracle runs by Queens. As the Boilermakers have their sights set on advancement in the tournament. Kaufman Wren and his big night continues.
The unselfish play is a reason why they can break a press very quickly. They know if you look up the floor, they're in great position, good look down low.
Savante Parker has had some struggles from the outside. Nicely done there on the interior.
I wonder reasons it's so difficult to come back on Purdue is they pass the ball so well. They don't turn it over around 10 times a game, give or take. And they'll patiently take the time off the clock to get an opportunity to score on you.
Jim, the question has never been about the offense with Purdue. It's always been their defense. And you just consider how they finished the season, where they were the last month of the year as Parker is called for his 4th. They finished the regular season losing 7 of their final 13. There were questions being asked, is this team good enough to really even think about a deep run? And then they ran roughshod through the Big Ten tournament in Chicago. And boy, they put those questions to bed, at least for the moment.
Yeah, and interesting enough, as Kaufman-Renn hits that shot, I worked one of their games about a week or so before the tournament, and they were really in their practices just focusing on defense for an hour straight that I was there, and it was just Matt Painter getting into them, letting them know that's where they have to win games from that side of the floor.
Beautiful looking stroke from Benter. By the way, we worked that game together. Did you forget about me already?
I'm in a little bit of fog.
Is that how much I mean to you,
well,
Jim?
you didn't pick up the dinner or anything for me, so I quickly forgot you.
So we move inside of the 6-minute mark. Here comes man. Nice little Euro step, and he rattles it in. Nice little maneuver that time. Man, trying to get him excited. Got me excited. Nice maneuver on the interior.
And what I'm trying to bait you into is picking up the next dinner. So
I see this masterful.
Working it. Look at this.
Smith deep shot, and he's not done yet. Matt Painter potentially going to start to empty his bench. 5:33 left. Smith has 26. The Purdue Boilermakers hoping to author their new March Madness script. You think about these 3 seniors, Smith, Kaufman-Renn, and Lawyer. We mentioned Kaufman-Renn having to basically sit behind Edey for 2 years. Boy, has that patience paid off. And Jim, they basically experienced everything you can. They've won the regular season crown Big Ten, conference tournament, national runner-up 2 years ago. They even got that upset. You know, they've tasted basically every emotion there is. And as Matt Painter said, the only thing left is to hoist that trophy.
Exactly. Can the dream continue for them?
As Meyer beautifully done off glass.
Complimentary players are playing well too.
But again, you just have to marvel, with the way that the college basketball landscape has changed. Guys staying for 4 years, committing to a program. A team that rarely dips into the transfer portal. The uniqueness of the program that Matt Painter has built in West Lafayette. Look at Jacobson. Hard flush.
Well, when you build a program like Matt Painter has, it kind of starts from the top, the coach, the foundation, and the culture. And he really gets these guys to buy into him. I think they just like Matt. He's a great guy. Takes the time to speak with you whenever even when he's busy in the middle of practice, he'll come over, and it's just, he's laid a great foundation for this program. See the big finish. Jacobson.
I'm sure when Matt Painter was playing for his mentor, Gene Cady, he could have never dreamt that A, he would eventually replace him, and B, have a chance to break Cady's all-time school wins record. But Painter will likely break it next year. He's matched the great Cady for most trips to the NCAA tournament. As Painter's illustrious coaching career continues. So CJ, wow.
He's trying to thread the needle. It was intercepted.
Here comes man. And a nice little setup underneath. Gets it to Isaiah Henry. One of the top shooting guards in the state of North Carolina. As the young freshman out of Charlotte gets his first taste of the dance. But you look up and it's a 48-point basketball game.
And just to go back to the first half, it was fairly competitive with Purdue up 12. What happened?
First 18 minutes, we were kind of looking at each other like, man, Queens looks like they belong. And then the Boilermakers just took it to a different level. But a great season for Grant Leonard and Queens. At the finality of this tournament. All right, so UCLA getting healthy at just the right time, and the Bruins hoping to make a late and deep run through the tournament. Final 3 minutes here in St. Louis. The Purdue Boilermakers, last season a team that was unable to get out of the first weekend of the tournament, and they have been dominant. Woo. As Jacobson is pulled down. And the officials are going to say offensive foul, so Jacobson looks confused. He can't believe that call. This season of Naked and Afraid, survivalists take on brutal new elements, deadly predators, and the ultimate 21-day challenge. Watch new episodes of Naked and Afraid Sundays at 8 p.m. on Discovery. Hard to believe this was a 5-point game with 3 minutes left in the first half. It was 35-30 Purdue. Since that point, they have outscored the Royals 63-32. This little maneuver underneath, that's Cam Clark, the junior out of Memphis.
It is pretty amazing because we were speaking about it with Queens, you know, showing some signs of positivity and making things happen, and doors have just been blown off.
Omer Meyer. He's had some big games this season. Had that 18-point outburst late February against Indiana.
He shoots that ball well. In that game, he was 4 for 5 from the threes. He adds a different dimension to this game coming off the bench for Purdue.
Isaiah Henry getting some late runs. Second field goal off the bench. The season, Jim, that has been just so exalting for this Queens University program. Enrollment only about 2,500 in this university based in Charlotte. There's so much to be proud of. Their first ever trip to the dance. They just ran into one of the great programs in the country.
Yeah, they really did, and especially when that Purdue team that you're referencing is shooting 13 for 22 from the three-point line, 23 assists on their 40 makes.
Meyer gets it to Benter. Offensive rebound, Jacobson. And poked away by Larson.
A couple extra dribbles, got him in trouble.
Queens University, only the 4th school in the last 50 years of the sport to make the NCAA tournament in its first year of eligibility. UC San Diego famously did it last year and made them add their name to that very short list. Let's play on the interior by Larson. Open look, splash! Everyone getting into the party. It's Liam Murphy. Murphy, one of the 2 transfers that Painter brought into the fold in West Lafayette. Murphy and Clough as we're down to 30 seconds. This is Clark, little body bump. And Cam Clark's going to shoot free throws. So the Boilermakers are going to be the 5th Big Ten team to win by 20 or more points so far in the tournament. As this strong showing for the Big Ten will continue into the round of 32.
And that man, Matt Painter, has to be very happy with the way his team has played, but B, the components of it, the individuals. Just about everybody across the board contributed for Matt tonight. So they get to lace it up again on Sunday.
104-70. Seconds left. As now the Boilermakers will await the winner between Missouri and Miami. Heavy contingent that has made the trek from West Lafayette out of their seats. The Boilermakers have punched their ticket to the round of 32 as the 2 seed moves on in the West. And meantime, a fabulous season for the Royals of Queens University comes to an abrupt end here in St. Louis.
Very competitive first half for them, as we discussed, but then this second half, the Purdue style just took over. Their strength underneath the boards paid big dividends also.
33-point victory. And now it's Miami, Missouri in the 7-10 matchup coming your way next. And we'll have it here on True TV. So Braden Smith, the star headliner, 26 points on a night that he becomes the all-time assist king.
And Purdue becomes a tougher and tougher out, Spiro, if they're shooting the ball as well as they did tonight. Very, very impressive. And a team effort all across the board, both on the inside, on the outside, the three-point shooting, and sharing the basketball as well as they did tonight.
51 points between Smith and Trey Kaufman-Renn. 2 players who were just sensational tonight. Tournament games continue live on CBS, TNT, and TBS. Next on True TV, Missouri and Miami. We'll send it to our studios for Capital One Tournament Central next.
Yep. Braden, congrats on a great win. How were you guys so flawless those last 25 minutes or so?
I think once we got some stops, and obviously we weren't great, but trying to get some stops and then just being able to execute offensively, I think once we were able to execute, we were getting wherever we want, and it's just make or miss from there.
What's changed with this team the last week?
I think just focusing and locking in more defensively, because I think it literally our offense flows through our defense. Like once we're able to get stops, we're a really good transition team, and obviously making shots helps. So being able to put 2 and 2 together, it makes us pretty good.
I know you're a humble star, but you broke the NCAA's all-time assist record tonight. The top 2 guys right now for that record are you and Bobby Hurley. What is it like to be in that type of company?
No, I mean, obviously he's an unbelievable player, and I watched him growing up too, and just being able to be named alongside someone like that is just an unbelievable accomplishment. But I can't do it without the teammates and the team that I've been around in my 4 years, and it goes to all of them as well. So it's obviously awesome. Like I said, we're trying to win here. We got 5 more to go.
Appreciate it. We'll see you Sunday.
Thank you. Yep.